You have said that you are not a fan of religious liberty, that you're okay with church bells, but you would outlaw Muslim calls to prayer.
Yes, sir.
Would you outlaw the practice of Islam in general? Would you outlaw building a mosque?
I would like to. And here's why. And I know that's going to shock some people to hear that. Islam is not a religion. Islam's a political movement. And Islam is something we've allowed an Islamization in America that we're going to pay for if we're not careful. I know that's going to shock some of your listeners to hear that. And I don't offer it for shock. But it is not a movement of seeking God in what many of us have viewed in other lands and have seen it. And just by the writings, it is not that. I don't want to see the state of Tennessee, and I'm not picking on just Islam. I would offer that for Buddhism or Hinduism or many of these other pagan religions. I would like to see them not exist in the United States of America. I would like to see that everyone would refer to Christ as King. That would be my goal.
And you would use the law to eliminate religions that don't do that?
I think the first thing that we Christians have to do is be salt and light. I think that once the lost man hears the truth of the gospel of Jesus Christ, it brings them to a decision point. They either repent and become saved, or they choose to live in lostness. And often, I think the reason that we have those things in our Constitution that talks about, someone who denies the existence of God or a final state of things, perhaps they're not mentally conditioned to be able to understand how to lead and serve the people. So I think that certainly applies.
So you would use the law to outlaw religions that don't say Christ is King?
I think that all Christians should have that as an end goal. Again, back to what I answered first, I'm not going to force anybody to bow the knee to Christ. That's going to come one day after all. I think we should establish conditions that allow for that. I think that if we allow a political movement to come in whose end goal is not your good, but it is to oppress and overtake what was founded as a Christian nation, I think that my children and grandchildren and your children and grandchildren will suffer for it. And I'm going to take a different view on that.
And I will tell you, I know people who are Muslim,
Me
and
too. I have
and
friends
they
who are
would
Muslim.
absolutely reject any notion that Islam is not a religion.
I have friends that are cultural Muslim, and have friends overseas that are cultural Muslim, who I'd love to see again. But I think the movement itself is not a religion. I would
So
say.
by your logic, if you would outlaw building mosques and outlaw Muslim call to prayer, outlaw Buddhism, you would also outlaw Judaism, wouldn't you?
No, I wouldn't.
So what's the difference? They do not say Christ is King.
Some do. Some do. There are lots of Messianic Jews.
I'm not talking about Messianic Jews. I'm talking about people who practice Judaism.
Yeah, I think there are lots of people who go to. I'm a Southern Baptist. There's lots of people who go to Southern Baptist churches who've not made Christ King over their life that are also in danger of hellfire. So I think to try to split the hair to get me to say that, I'm not willing to say that.